I have been playing a little. Well, I played a little demo of a game called Resident Evil 4. I don't know if you've heard of it.
Nah, never heard of it.
Let me just pull
Don't think
open
it'll catch on.
my footage here.
Never heard of this Leon guy.
So Capcom had a showcase earlier this week, and I think it was leaked before, but they quote unquote shadow dropped a Resident Evil 4 demo. Which is, I think, like, I take my hat off to them. They've been really good. All the Resident Evils in the last 5 years, 6 years, whatever, every single one of them has had a demo like a few weeks before launch, and it's just like a nice teaser or a taste of what you can expect from the game.
Yeah.
And man, I've played this demo. It only took me like 20 to 25 minutes, and I'm real stoked for Resident Evil 4.
You in, yeah.
I think, have you played Resident Evil 4 before? I think everyone has at this stage. Like, it's on every damn platform. Don't you tell me you haven't.
I haven't, actually.
You haven't? Okay, well.
I've played maybe the opening few hours. I've never finished it.
So I think the closest comparison I can give you, you've played Resident Evil 5, right?
Yes.
Okay, so different games, but in terms of movement and mechanics, Resident Evil 5 was Resident Evil 4, but with co-op, but very similar. You can shoot an enemy in the face and then walk up to them and do like a melee attack.
But you can't move while shooting.
You can't move, but they've made a lot of changes in this one, modernized it in a lot of very subtle and I think clever ways, at least from what I've seen in, as much as I can see in the first 20 minutes, which is, it's basically the opening of the game. For example, you can aim and move, which is pretty cool.
Okay.
But weirdly, in an un-Resident Evil move, you can crouch in this game and sneak around.
Oh, interesting.
Which it took me completely by surprise. Like, so maybe, in the main game, you'll be incentivized to sneak around or do whatever. Just interesting little touch, which you'd think in a survival horror franchise that's been around for like nearly 30 years, at some stage they would have actual
some sort
mechanics.
Of stealth,
yeah. And I've also added this thing where your knife plays a pretty big defensive role, kind of like what they've done in I suppose remake 2, where if you get grabbed you can kind of use an item defensively, but here it seems that you've got your knife and it's got durability, so if you get grabbed you have the option to tap a button to like pull out of the grab while taking more damage, or immediately hit your knife button and, get rid of an enemy, but your knife loses a bit of durability.
Okay.
So it's like a subtle little touch. And I imagine you're either going to find more knives as you play, obviously, or have the ability to repair it at the merchant or something. It's not quite clear in this demo. But it's like it's such a subtle thing, because then immediately you've got a little bit more onus on your strategies. It's like, well, do I burn my knife durability to get out of the sticky situation, or like I'll take the damage and go for it, But that's really all I've been able to glean mechanically from the demo. Visually, it looks great. I mean, if you're watching,
I was just about to say, this looks fucking incredible.
This engine is actual magic. Like, so this footage is from PS5. I don't doubt that it looks just as good. Obviously, maybe not as crisp, not as smooth, but it'll probably look just as good in last gen consoles, because remake 2 and 3,
right, it is coming to last gen,
were in the same engine, and they both looked great. I think it's interesting because Resident Evil 4 is definitely an iconic title, but it definitely was more action focused, still like survival horror, but not nearly in the same levels the games that came before it. But I think, the more you played the game, the more it became very action focused. You had a whole arsenal of weapons, grenades, etc., etc. But I do wonder how they're going to keep the tension going in this game, because even in terms of lighting, like, it's night and day how good this game looks. Like, for those of you who can't watch,
it looks a lot darker.
It's way darker. Yeah, I mean, even this opening enemy, I'm like, oh my god. This is terrifying. Goodness. So you see, I'm using the knife there immediately.
Yeah, to get out of the grab. Oh my god, look at his head.
Oh man, but yeah, it's just a short taste of the game. But yeah, I'm very excited to replay this. I played Resident Evil 4, not even in a tater. I played it on the Wii like many years later, and I absolutely loved it. It's quite a long entry in terms of the campaign length. So I'm quite interested to see what else they do to reinvent this iconic game. Like, it's probably the most beloved Resident Evil for, a number of people and reasons. And I think it's quite a tall task, to remake it while ticking all the boxes.
This was always going to be the hardest remake, I think, for them. Like, because it is so good to play still today.
Exactly. But it's also interesting because if you think of, let's say, Resident Evil 2 remake, that drastically changed things because, no longer static camera, it is over the shoulder. The Resident Evil 4 is over the shoulder already. It's the same sort of perspective, the same sort of feel. But what else are they going to do, or what are they going to do to mix things up? Like, I've already noticed, like I said, some small mechanic tweaks, but what else are they going to do? How are they going to change narrative beats? How is it going to be walking around with Ashley? Like, that was a huge mechanic in the first one where you could tell it to follow you or stop following you. You could tell it to hide in a garbage bin, a dumpster. Like, I don't know if this is still going to be a thing in this remake. So, yeah, real cool.
There seems to be tons of positive sentiment from previews that were, more extensive, like some of the changes they've made to combat, like parrying with your knife apparently is a big thing.
I didn't figure that out, but yeah, I know there is parrying now.
Yeah, so that's like, I think they've definitely tried to do enough for it to not be like, cool, this is the same game but just looks better. Which would kind of be the most boring route.
You have to reinvent it.
Yeah. Did you shoot the lantern above the cow? I saw that in one of their showcases. It was like, oh, you can use fire and animals to attack enemies, and they just burn the shit out of a barn with the cow.
I'll hard cut to what happened in my playthrough because I laughed because I also knew about that. Sorry, this is poor for audio listeners. But I
know this section. You see, I've played this section of the original.
Yeah, so this is you're in the village.
Oh my god, you are dead.
So look at this. I'm like, shit, let me run to the barn so I can shoot the lantern. Oh shit, it's already done. Oh my god, there's the cow. Did not work as planned.
Oh my god, this cow's coming for you. Oh my god.
Oh, that is hilarious.
This is that moment where you just kind of have to survive, and then they ring the bell. Yeah, and everyone like disappears.
I don't recall there being a chainsaw dude.
I recall there being a chainsaw
was
dude.
There in this opening?
Yeah,
okay.
Definitely.
Damn.
It's like a very iconic. What the hell?
I just picked up a chicken egg. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, can you throw it at the chainsaw dude?
No, this is a health. Okay, it came in clutch.
The egg is a health item.
It's a health item. It was in the original as well.
Definite protein. I can actually see like Leon Kennedy just smashing that egg whole into his mouth, eating it shell and all. Just
it's delicious. Yeah. And also just right out the gate, they gave more context to how Leon got you, because I remember playing the original going, I don't know if maybe you read via notes or late in the story. I know it's ridiculous.
That's ridiculous. You just parried a chainsaw with a little hand hunting knife. Like, what is going on?
But in the original, it's like, in Resident Evil 2, Leon is this rookie cop, okay? Hard cut to Resident Evil 4, he is a special agent hunting the president's daughter. Like, how did this happen?
And there's only like 4 years between the two,
I think it's 6 years. So yeah, when you start the game, there's a cutscene which explains like how he got you. I'm like, oh, okay, thank you. Because it wasn't clear the first time.
Did it make sense?
I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's like, I survived Raccoon City, and then I was recruited into a special forces unit, and I got training and blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. This explains why this dude can roundhouse kick a zombie now,
6 years of training has taught him how to roundhouse kick zombies.
Got personally trained by Chuck Norris. Yeah, but the game's out, I think, in 2 or so weeks. I'm very excited. I think it's going to be real good. I don't see how it can't be good unless they're like really messing up.
I'm so goddamn keen to play that game. Like, the Resident Evil games for the past couple of years have been like the best things to happen in a year of gaming. So, I mean, RE2 was like one of the best games I've ever played. RE3, I still really enjoyed RE3 Remake.
Me too.
And Village was just incredible, I thought. So, full of nonsense, but incredible.
If you enjoyed Village is honest. honestly felt like a spiritual successor to 4 in so many ways.
A lot of people have said that. Yeah, I mean, I do think Village isn't as scary as 7, but I also think 7's the scariest Resident Evil's ever been. But I like them. I'm here for the cheese and the good times, and it's just great gameplay.
I acknowledge that the story is actual garbage, but it doesn't
garbage.
matter.
I watched a really good GameSpot has a really good like Resident Evil timeline video up. It's like 45 minutes.
Oh, I must watch that. Yeah,
absolute
game goes places.
Bullshittery.
You'll be surprised how many games you don't even know about that just exist, and you're like, oh.
It's incredible that timeline now starts with something that happened in Village. The way they just fucking shoehorn that game into there, like, great. This is actually how the whole series started. Really,
yeah.
It's a good time. It's fun.
If you're hankering for more Resident Evil, like you don't have enough, I think pick up Revelations 1 and or 2.
Ooh, I still need to play those. Yeah,
the Switch, because Revelations 1 was actually a 3DS title, like exclusive.
I played a little bit of it on 3DS, but then it felt really bad on 3DS.
I played it on Switch now. It'd be great.
Yeah, and Revelations 2 is apparently real fun. So.
I enjoyed it, yeah.
Apparently in Revelations 2, I found this out from the video, there is a plot point where people are outfitted with collars on their neck that capture their like fear level, and if they get too scared, they die.
Something like that.
What? Yeah. Is this Saw?
I played it many years ago, but that rings a bell.
Good Lord.
It was a good time.